Ricky Ross.
I said my Chevy sits so high up from the floor. I feel like I'm an alien in a UFO. I go, beam me up. I go, beam me up, because my Chevy sits so high from the floor. I feel like I'm an alien in a UFO. I go, beam me up. I go, beam me up. I go.
Creep through the hood, dog, tinted on the box. Coming Flintstone, got my feet so high. Now, you ain't messing with my shit. I tank so come cash. Inches black on black. Over real hard, yeah, off in the back. And this ain't ooh-wee when I come around. That side, put it down when I'm in town. I said my Chevy sits so high up from the floor. My rims is taller than your nieces. In my Chevy, the balls. And I got them dogs that pop up like the UFO. Okay, it is a Mr. Man, and y'all already know.
I
Let's
said my
go.
Chevy sits so high up from the floor. I feel like I'm an alien in a UFO. I go, beam me up. I go, beam me up, because my Chevy sits so high from the floor. I feel like I'm an alien in a UFO. I go, beam me up. I go,
Triple C's, baby.
beam me up. I go.
Big bounce, big block, wet paint, flip flop, more girls, no style, more girl, more blocks. We grind, I shine. See that? That's mine. Old school costs more than new school, but my money way more than it used to. She with me, can't you tell? Gucci bag, name Chanel, Louis this, Fendi that. In my jeans, 20 stacks, 24.